I rise today to speak about the Environment Planning and Assessment Amendment Bill. While I, like everyone here, understands the crisis in housing affordability and supply, I have to stand here today to explain and make some points why I won't be supporting this. In my electorate of Wollondilly, I cover the council areas of Wollondilly and Wingecarribee. We already have housing approved with subdivisions that are in place with roads and lighting, ready to build on, but limited because there's no appropriate infrastructure. And I'm not talking about high schools or transport or hospitals, in fact. Sure, there are none of these things there, but we don't actually have sewer. Yes, sewer in this day and age with new approved and ready to go developments where sewer is being trucked in and out each day. And the land waits. The people who have repurchased or purchased this land wait. They continue to watch the prices of housing they have timed contracts on, timed out, and new negotiated contracts with higher prices. We are talking about the need for new housing developments, and I'm concerned on many levels. The difficult process and expense of getting DAs through, even after a planning proposal is approved. The drip feed of requirements and reports on everything from heritage to environment that have all just been submitted on planning proposals. Funny enough, things like Cumberland Plains do not cover developers' lands, but mums and dads' land. The delay costs money, not only for developers, but builders, and also people just trying to build a home. Of course, we have areas in our electorate that are covered by SEPs, stopping secondary dwellings, because of the new airport. Some 30 kilometres away from runways, some on over 10 hectares where they can build only one house. It can be with 10 bedrooms, but not two homes with two-bedroom homes. In a housing crisis? Not funny. We are waiting for the flight paths. They're just about to start flying, and we don't know the flight paths. At a higher level, it's not about good planning. Where there are proposals to get a Jersey, it doesn't make sense for people to live in that are driven by developers who see the only reason we're getting the development there is because a developer sees financial opportunities. And this can be in the middle of nowhere. There may be no transport, and when families finally get there, they may not be able to afford to live there, as there may be no transport to jobs, or it may even take half the income to be able to get there paying tolls. We may promise infrastructure for the future, infrastructure that looks wonderful on the brochures and prospectus, but just never comes, and I've seen that. We are seeing applications in areas where we would normally consider fully the worry of flooding or bushfire, and only the stakeholders that live there really understand those things. So we're cutting short their time. But because we're fed the line of cheaper housing for essential workers, we seem to be able to overlook these worries for the future because a developer is ready to go. The new inhabitants of these affordable housing that we deliver deserve it not to be second class with all the appropriate infrastructure. And the proof for me is in the pudding. Previous governments of both persuasions have done this, and the residents are still waiting. Affordable housing that people cannot afford to live in. The other issue I have is the slow release, stage release of the portions of developments. While the developers may argue it's all about costs, I believe it's about keeping supply in short supply. And anyone who's done high school economics knows if you keep supply short with an increasing demand, then the price goes up. In my electorates, I have developments yet to be approved that are questionable. I have developments approved, but no building can happen because there's no essential services such as sewer. And I have developments where people live who have to travel for hours to work or high school, paying the tolls, or heaven forbid if they get sick, waiting for an ambulance that takes a long trip to medical services. Thousands of houses with no police station. So while I appreciate the tack the government are taking on delivering with this amendment, with shorter consultation time and speeding up the process, and why are they not trying to talk about delivering the infrastructure? Talk about getting Sydney Water to actually deliver the services so these houses and homes can be built and lived in. And again, why is the money not put back for these developments into the area where they're being done and not some other regional project? So I'd also like to see developers forced to release all their stages so that we get a bigger supply in the market at the one time, not retaining the prices as high as they are. There's a lot of action that can be taken, but I am really concerned about the amendments that are being put forward. I want housing in my area with the infrastructure. It's not about just increasing the housing targets, but where people can afford to live with services and jobs so that they actually live in happy communities. And at this point, I can't see this delivering for my community.